Rohan, once a monk of quiet dignity, now tosses in his modest bed 2 decades after leaving the monastic order. He tends to village illness by day, but at night he lies in a haze of watchfulness. Why can't I sleep? What if my remedies fail? Did I lose my way? On the 3rd night, he rises in darkness and walks to a mirror. He barely recognizes the reflection, eyes shadowed, jaw tight. In that moment, something inside him breaks. "This isn't me," he whispers. His knees buckle and he collapses to the ebony floor. Awake in the silence, he realizes that no external cure can touch this ache. At dawn, Rohan finds his old mentor, Master Arjuna, meditating beneath the Bodhi tree. "Right, Master. My hands can heal limbs, but not my own heart. I'm flooded by thoughts. If only, and what if, I feel empty, but I don't know what's broken." Arjuna opens his eyes, the calm lake within. "Arjuna, you're searching the outside for what sits in your mind. Stop. Close your eyes. Listen." Rohan closes his eyes. 1,000 thoughts flood in, each claiming urgency. But he keeps still, until just one remains. "I don't know who I am." Arjuna places his hand on Rohan's shoulder. "Arjuna, excellent. That is your starting point. We often treat life's wounds like broken tools, repairable with ointment or work. Yet Buddhism teaches that true suffering is the internal story, not the external wound. Obsessive worry equals mental harvest grilled by fear. Endless self-judgment equals the sharpest blade we wield upon ourselves. Rohan carries not just physical strain, but the narrative, "I should do better." The first step to healing: drop the hammer and look inward. Under the tree, Arjuna takes Rohan's hand. "Arjuna, there is a wound you don't know you carry. It's not in your body, but in your mind, and it bleeds through every moment." Visual: Rohan watching a lotus bud tremble in land and water. Unopened beauty, untouched by praise. Arjuna, self-healing isn't adding stitches from without, but allowing the wound to rest, to regenerate. It's not fixing, it's tending. Rohan's eyes well up. For the first time he understands. His constant solutions, his endless doing, it was his fear refusing to still. Arjuna guides Rohan to sit cross-legged beneath sky and leaf. "Arjuna, your first medicine is this, the breath, just one. Notice it, then the next." Rohan inhales slowly, feels the cool air descend. Hold. Exhale gently. Then again, each breath reveals a rhythm deeper than his fears. Each exhale whispers, "You are here." The first curtain lifted. "Dear friend, here's your first healing practice. Sit quietly for 1 minute. Close your eyes. Feel your natural breath for just 1 cycle. Notice the shift, not because the breath solves everything, but because it holds you when your mind trembles. Because healing isn't a sprint. It begins with 1 breath in the stillness. Days have passed since Rohan began his mindful breathing under the Bodhi tree. At dawn, he feels a gentle calm. But as evening approaches, doubt seeps back. Did I do enough today? Was I compassionate enough? Sitting by a soft candlelight, Rohan questions. Even with mindfulness, the same voices echo, "I'm not enough." There in the quiet, his mentor's words return. "Self-judgments are not you. They are thoughts asking to be seen." That night, restless, Rohan dreams. He's trapped in a cage of his own making. Each bar is labeled, "Not successful enough," "Failing those who need me," "Not skilled enough as a healer." He pounds the bars, but they hold firm. Then he remembers Arjuna's teaching. "This is not me." He whispers it in the dream. Suddenly he dissolves the bars. "I am not my thoughts," he realizes. He is the awareness watching them. He awakens, heart pounding, chest open. At first light, Rohan seeks Arjuna. "Rohan, Master, I dreamed of freeing myself, but how do I live that freedom in daylight?" Arjuna leads him to the lotus pond. "Arjuna, see the lotus bloom above the mud. Do not think it is lucky. Just let it be present. Let your mind be like water. When pebbles fall in, thoughts, judgments say, 'This is not me. This is just a thought.' Then watch it ripple and fade." Rohan kneels, practices with each distraction. Pebbles of self-criticism, ripples of guilt, waves of anxiety. Each time he reminds himself softly, "This is not me." Days merge into routine, yet each practice is a revelation. In the marketplace, I appear anxious. This is not me. He breathes, stands steady. After a tense conversation, I wasn't good enough. This is just thought. He softens into presence. Through this steady gaze, the power of thoughts begins to drain. And in the space that opens, peace grows. One evening, a villager's child is injured. Rohan tends to the wound, but guilt creeps in. I delayed. Maybe I harmed her. He kneels at Arjuna's feet. Rohan, softly. This guilt follows me. Arjuna places a hand on his shoulder. Arjuna, guilt is a cloud. You are the sky. Use your practice. This is not me, this is just a thought. Then choose wisely. Care for the child. Learn, but don't judge. Rohan breathes, whispers the phrase, and finds himself both tender and strong. He returns to the child, healing not only blood, but heart and mind. Thoughts arise, but they are not reality. Labels vanish when met with awareness. True compassion flows when the mind stops punishing itself. Try this practice with me now. Close your eyes, if possible, or soften your gaze. Notice one recurring judgment or anxious thought. Gently say to yourself, this is not me, this is just a thought. Watch it ripple and dissolve. Return to your breath. Allow the quiet space to settle in. Each time you repeat this practice, you grow stronger, not by building a new self, but by letting go of the illusions that block it. Weeks have passed since Rohan embraced the practice of reframing his thoughts, yet he still senses a distance between mind and body, a numbness that words can't reach. One dawn, Arjuna leads him into the fields where a caterpillar lies inside its chrysalis. Arjuna, do you feel a pause in growth when the chrysalis is complete? Rohan looks at the chrysalis, still silent. Arjuna continues. In that stillness, transformation happens, not by doing, but by being. Let your practice settle your body's pain the same way. Rohan nods, realizing he's been healing mentally but not physically. His body still aches under unspoken tension. Arjuna guides Rohan to a simple body scan practice. Sit quietly. Start at the crown of your head. Notice any tension, temperature, sensations. Move slowly down, neck, shoulders, arms, chest, abdomen, hips, legs, feet. Simply observe, no judgment. Rohan closes his eyes and begins. Initially he feels resistance, sharpness in his shoulders, heat across his chest. But with steady breath, he reaches his hips. Tears well up. Pain he's ignored floods to the surface. He whispers, this hurt is not me, but it's here. He breathes, holding space for it, allowing presence to soothe. Later, a villager brings a child with a sprained ankle. As Rohan tends the wound, he feels the same ache he scanned earlier. He pauses. He recalls his morning practice. He breathes compassion into the sprain and into himself. May you find ease, he whispers to both the child and his own heart. The child relaxes, trusting the healer, and Rohan's body loosens, as if the compassion he gave out returned to him tenfold. That evening, Rohan reflects beneath the Bodhi tree, candle beside him. He remembers childhood pain, words of shame, expectations unmet. For a lifetime he carried their weight. Tonight he gently places each piece into his palm and says, you are not your mistakes. You are learning. You are here. He releases, watching the candle's flame steady. For the first time in years, the weight lifts. Following days, Rohan integrates embodied mindfulness into all tasks. Walking meditation, feeling earth beneath feet, sky above. Cooking rice, tasting steam, hearing grains, honoring nourishment. Caring for the sick, hands steady, breath steady, compassion awakened. Each moment becomes a portal, healing body and soul together, step by mindful step. Rohan discovers three fundamental truths. Awareness heals, symptoms ease when met with presence. Compassion heals. We release pain not through force, but through kindness. Embodying practice transforms. Healing becomes lived, not just thought. You can try this now. Close your eyes, take 3 breaths. Gently scan your body from head to toe. Notice one place of tension or discomfort. Breathe into it with words, may this be at ease. Rest. Feel the space that opens as you soften into presence. Every tense breath, every moment of self-compassion is a brick in the path of healing. A month had passed. Rohan had healed deeply, from self-judgment, from unseen wounds, from fear wrapped in silence. But there was a quiet whisper in his heart now, a question that rustled like leaves in the wind. What is the purpose of peace if I keep it only for myself? He walked to the edge of the village, to the hilltop where once, years ago, he had screamed into the void. Now, standing there again, he closed his eyes. No scream, no storm, just a stillness as vast as the sky. "I have returned to myself," he said aloud. "Now I return to serve back in the village." Everything looked the same. Children playing, elders gossiping, traders shouting. But Rohan saw it all differently. He no longer judged the loud as ignorant or the silent as wise. He saw joy in imperfection, pain in the smiles, tension behind hurried steps. The mindfulness he cultivated became a new way of seeing, and more than that, he felt it. He could sense when someone was hurting behind their words, when they needed not advice but presence. He began to sit with those in grief. Not to fix, not to save, just to listen. To be one afternoon, an old woman came to Rohan holding a cracked clay pot. Old woman, "I made this when my son was born. He died last year. I've been holding on to this, as if it held him." She looked at it. So fragile, so broken. Should I throw it away? Rohan held the pot gently in his hands, as if it were a sacred text. He looked at her and said, "When something breaks, we are taught to fix it or discard it. But what if we honored the cracks as proof of love?" He knelt and poured golden resin into the cracks, kintsugi style. The pot glowed with golden scars. "Now it doesn't hide the pain," he said. "It shines because of it." The woman wept and smiled. It was the first time in a year she had done both. Word spread across nearby villages. The monk who healed not with herbs but with presence, not with chants but with silence. People came, not for miracles but to feel whole again. And so each evening, Rohan would host a healing circle under the banyan tree. There were no sermons, no rules. He simply asked, "What part of you have you not held gently today?" One by one, people would speak. Others would listen. Tears would fall. Laughter would rise. And breath by breath, they would remember they weren't alone. Healing became a shared space, not a private destination. Years later, a young seeker named Arun came to Rohan, filled with fire. "Master," he said, "I want peace. Teach me how to destroy my pain." Rohan smiled, not at the words, but at the mirror they were. "You do not need to destroy pain," he replied. "You need to hold it so gently it surrenders on its own." He handed Arun a flame in a small bowl. "Carry this through the forest without letting it go out. Don't protect it with a cover. Don't rush. Don't fear the wind." Arun took the bowl, trembling. Hours later he returned, exhausted but victorious. "I did it," he said. "But I had to move slowly, breathe with it, feel every step." Rohan nodded. "And so you've learned to carry fire with calm, to carry pain with presence. That is the secret of true healing." On the day of his final teaching, Rohan sat beneath the Bodhi tree once more. Older now, his beard like snowfall, his eyes brighter than ever. He spoke to the gathered villagers, seekers, children, skeptics, monks. "The mind can wound us," he began, "but it can also become the garden where our soul blooms again. You don't need more knowledge to heal. You don't need perfection. You don't even need time. You need presence. You need compassion. You need the courage to breathe, exactly as you are." He bowed deeply. Then he added, "The greatest healer is not the one who cures the illness, but the one who teaches others to heal themselves, and so the tale ends not with a cure, but with a transformation." Rohan did not become famous. He did not build a temple, but he healed minds. He taught others to be present with their own hearts. And if you listened closely enough, you'd hear your own breath echoing his lesson. Every wound waits not for a savior, but for your attention. Every breath is a doorway home. Every act of presence is a step toward peace. Which part of yourself have you not held gently today? Sit with it now, not to fix, but to simply be with it. That is the beginning of healing.